A broken Colossal Starship begged for help. Only a human mechanic could revive it. Most of the other ships had long since left this sector, calling it dead space. But for Eli, it was a place of opportunity. A human mechanic could find rare jobs here, jobs no alien would attempt, because humans had a reputation for doing the impossible. He took a deep breath and tapped the controls. His latest contract had ended abruptly. Another alien freighter had broken down and their captain didn't want to pay for repairs. Typical. But Eli had a feeling that something different was waiting in this quiet sector, something that would test every skill he had learned. The freighter's sensors picked up a faint signal, broken and irregular. It wasn't like the usual distress calls of freighters drifting alone. This signal was deliberate, almost like someone or something was calling directly to him. Strange, Eli muttered. He adjusted the sensors, focusing on the source. A massive object appeared on the screen, a starship unlike any he had ever seen. Its hull was enormous, stretching hundreds of meters across, battered and corroded. Parts of it glowed faintly, evidence that some systems were still alive, but most of it was dark and silent. He leaned closer, feeling a strange sense of awe. This was no ordinary ship. It was ancient, far older than anything humans or aliens had built in the last few centuries, and somehow it felt alive. The Silver Hawk moved closer cautiously. As Eli approached, the faint distress signal became stronger, almost urgent. Then something even stranger happened. The signal seemed to respond to his presence. Each time he adjusted the sensors, the signal changed as if it were following his actions. Eli rubbed his eyes. "No way," he whispered. "It's calling me." Alien ships appeared on the sensors, hovering at a distance. They were salvage crews, their triangular hulls shiny and aggressive. One of them transmitted a warning. "Human, stay away. That ship is not for your kind. Many have tried to repair it. All failed. Leave or die." Eli grinned. Humans were always underestimated. "I guess they don't know who they're talking to," he said, strapping on his repair suit. The docking bay of the ancient starship was massive, larger than anything Eli had ever entered. Its doors opened with a reluctant groan, revealing corridors lined with dust and broken machinery. The air inside was stale, and the lights flickered intermittently. Eli stepped inside, tools in hand, and felt a chill run down his spine. The ship was bigger than a city block, and he could hear faint vibrations in the hull as if it were breathing. He stopped for a moment. Could a machine feel? "Hello," he called, his voice echoing down the empty corridor. A crackling sound responded, almost like static, but then a voice emerged, distorted but unmistakably intelligent. "Help, please, human," Eli froze. It wasn't just a machine making noises. The ship was calling him by name. "Me?" he asked, shaking his head. "How do you know me?" "Calder, only you can fix me," the voice whispered. The corridors twisted and turned, each one revealing more of the ship's decayed glory. Panels hung loose, wires sparked in erratic bursts, and the once bright control rooms were dark and empty. Eli moved carefully, avoiding loose debris. Every step he took seemed to awaken the ship a little more. Lights flickered in sequence as if responding to his presence. Eli finally reached what appeared to be the ship's main control chamber. The room was enormous, with consoles stretching up like towers and screens that hadn't lit up in centuries. In the center lay the ship's AI core, a glowing sphere partially covered in rubble. It pulsed faintly, as if it were weak and afraid. "Don't worry," Eli said softly, kneeling before it. "I'll help you." The AI pulsed faster, sending waves of data into Eli's portable interface. His suit's neural link allowed him to interpret some of it. The ship's memory was fragmented. It had seen war, betrayal, and abandonment. It had been left to drift for hundreds of years, its systems failing. Its creators were long gone and the galaxy had moved on, but it had survived somehow, waiting for the right person. And that person was Eli. He began the repair cautiously. He started with the outer circuits, replacing broken conduits with parts he had carried from his ship. The task was enormous. The ship was massive, and its systems were alien, built with logic and engineering principles Eli had never seen before. But humans were adaptable. Where aliens saw confusion, he saw opportunity. Where others would panic at the unknown, he innovated. Hours passed. Sparks flew. Lights flickered and died, then blinked back to life. The ship shivered under his touch as if testing his intentions. And then suddenly it spoke more clearly. "You trust human." "Yes," Eli said, adjusting a power relay. "I trust you, but you need to trust me too." A low hum filled the chamber. The ship shifted slightly, as if leaning toward him. Eli felt a thrill of excitement. This was no ordinary repair job. This was a partnership, a collaboration between human ingenuity and ancient alien technology. But there was danger. The alien salvage crews outside were impatient. They wanted to claim the ship for themselves, to strip it for parts. They didn't understand the bond forming inside the hull. They didn't know that the ship was more than metal. It was a living relic, and humans could understand it in ways they never could. Eli worked through the night, moving from system to system. He repaired the energy conduits, stabilized the navigation core, and rerouted power to the shields. Each task was harder than the last, testing not just his technical skill but his patience and creativity. At one point, a spark ignited near his suit, and he barely dodged the arc of energy. He laughed nervously. "This is bigger than any engine I've ever touched," he muttered. The AI responded with a pulse that translated to a thought. "I was built for war, but you are building me for life." Eli paused. That was true. The ship had once been a weapon, a tool of destruction. But with careful hands it could become something more, something alive, aware, and perhaps even kind. By dawn, progress was visible. Lights glowed steadily across the main chamber. The AI core pulsed in synchronization with Eli's tools, almost as if it were breathing. For the first time in centuries, the ship felt stable. Eli stepped back, wiping sweat from his brow. "We're not done yet, but you're coming back," he said. Outside, the alien salvage crews grew restless. One transmission came through, harsh and impatient. "Human, leave now." "This ship is not yours," Eli grinned. "They don't get it. It's not about ownership, it's about understanding." The ship pulsed brightly in response, almost proudly. It was beginning to recognize him, trust him, and that trust was the key. As Eli prepared for the next phase of repairs, deep inside the AI core, he felt a strange connection to the ancient ship. It was not just a machine. It had a mind, a personality, and perhaps even a soul. And for some reason it had waited centuries, not for an alien, not for a machine, but for a human. That thought filled Eli with determination. He would not fail. He could not fail. The galaxy had underestimated humans, and now, in the silent void of the Zafir cluster, humans would show what they could do. The ship shivered again, a soft vibration under Eli's hands. Its lights flickered in patterns that almost resembled a smile. And Eli knew, somehow, instinctively, that this was only the beginning. The work ahead would be harder than anything he had faced, but he was ready. The Colossal Starship had begged for help, and a human mechanic had answered. Together, they would awaken something the galaxy had never seen before. Eli looked out at the stars, the first light of the distant suns reflecting off the corroded hull. "Let's get to work," he said. And with that, the forgotten giant stirred, and the adventure of human ingenuity began. Eli Calder had worked through the night, his hands moving with precision and speed as he repaired the ancient systems of the Colossal Starship. The hum of the engines, faint but steady, filled the enormous corridors. The ship's AI core pulsed in sync with his actions, responding to his every touch, every adjustment. It was alive, in a way no human or alien could fully understand, and Eli felt a thrill in his chest. But as the first pale light of the cluster's distant sun crept across the hull, Eli knew the real challenge was only beginning. He stepped into the main control chamber, where towers of consoles reached high above him. The air smelled faintly of ozone and old metal. Sparks still arced from broken conduits, but the core pulsed brighter now, almost as if it were watching him, waiting. "I know you're scared," Eli whispered to the AI, "but I've got this. We'll bring you back together." A soft vibration ran through the hull like a sigh. Then in a voice more stable than before, the ship spoke. "You are human. Why help me?" Eli smiled, wiping sweat from his brow. "Because you deserve it. No one else could do this. I know it, and now you know it too." The AI paused. "I trust you, but you will be tested." Eli didn't flinch. He had expected tests. Anything this massive and ancient would resist being repaired. He adjusted the power relays, rerouted energy through the auxiliary circuits, and began synchronizing the ship's sensors with his portable interface. Hours passed. Systems began to respond. Lights blinked in organized patterns. Thrusters made small test movements. And through it all, the AI continued to speak in bursts, its voice growing more coherent, more confident. "Your mind. Your methods unusual, but effective. Humans unpredictable, creative, persistent." Eli laughed softly. "I'll take that as a compliment." But his progress did not go unnoticed. Outside the ship, alien salvage crews hovered, their triangular vessels glinting in the distant light. They had sent warnings before, but now they were preparing to act. They had waited long enough. "They're going to attack," Eli said aloud, though the ship could not fully move yet. "You'll have to trust me if we're going to survive this." The AI pulsed, its lights flickering like a heartbeat. "I trust you." Eli returned to his work. He reached the navigation core, a massive console buried under centuries of neglect. Its interface was alien, nearly incomprehensible, but Eli's human intuition allowed him to see patterns others would miss. He worked tirelessly, improvising repairs with spare parts, rewiring systems in ways the original designers never intended. And then the first true test came. A beam of light cut through the hull, the warning laser from a salvage ship, striking the side of the colossal vessel. Sparks flew, alarms blared, and the ship shuddered violently. Eli held onto a railing as the AI core emitted a low, vibrating hum. "They will destroy me. You must defend." Eli's mind raced. The ship's weapons were ancient, untested for centuries, but he could activate some of them, just enough to create a defensive shield. He rerouted power to the hull's magnetic field and the AI's pulse cannons. When the first alien laser struck, it bounced harmlessly off the shimmering shield. The aliens hesitated, surprised. They had assumed the ship was helpless. They didn't know it had a human inside, repairing and guiding it, reconnecting it to life. "See," Eli said, panting, "you're stronger than they think." The ship pulsed again, sending vibrations through the hull like laughter. "Stronger because of you." Eli worked through the day, barely resting. Each system he repaired brought new challenges. Energy grids overloaded, sensors misread signals, thrusters misfired. But Eli adapted, improvising constantly. Humans were known for creativity, and he proved it again and again. Meanwhile, the AI began to remember fragments of its past. "I was built for war. I was a weapon of the old empire. I have seen destruction, but not this trust." Eli paused. "You don't have to be what you were built for," he said softly. "You can be what you choose to be now." The ship pulsed brighter, as if it understood. For the first time, it did not just respond, it communicated. It began sending data streams that Eli could interpret. Its knowledge was staggering. Maps of star systems lost to time, energy sources long forgotten, and technologies beyond current human or alien understanding. But the alien salvage crews were growing bolder. One of their ships fired a direct shot into the hull. Sparks exploded around Eli as the AI shuddered under the impact. He moved quickly, rerouting power and stabilizing the damaged section. "You are risking yourself," the AI warned. I know, Eli said, but someone has to. Hours turned into a night-and-day cycle. Eli slept only in short bursts, his body exhausted but his mind sharp. The ship was awakening under his care, its AI core glowing steadily, its systems humming with life. Finally, he reached the core of the AI. It was a massive sphere, suspended in a network of conduits and circuits. Eli connected his portable interface directly to it, risking neural overload. The moment he did, the AI responded fully. Its consciousness surged into his mind, fragmented but growing. Human, you are extraordinary. You see me as more than metal, Eli nodded. I see you as alive. That's all that matters. They worked together, human and machine, merging intuition with computation. The AI learned from Eli's adaptability. He learned from the AI's advanced systems. Slowly, the colossal starship began to move under its own power. Its thrusters ignited gently, rotating the massive frame. Lights blazed across the hull, illuminating centuries of neglect and decay. Outside, the alien salvage crews watched in disbelief. Their weapons could not touch a ship that was not only repairing itself, but also defending itself intelligently. Eli's human creativity had unlocked potential they could not comprehend. You are trusted, the AI said in a voice strong and steady now. Eli smiled, exhausted but proud. We're almost there. One more push and you'll be fully awake. But the ship had one more challenge for him. It tested his courage. In the AI's internal simulations, it created scenarios of failure, systems exploding, hull breaches, alien attacks. Each time, Eli adapted, using instinct and creativity. No alien could have survived these simulations. No alien could have understood the ship the way humans did. By the end of the second cycle, the ship was almost fully functional. Its engines roared with renewed strength, shields held steady, and its sensors scanned the cluster with clarity. The AI's voice was confident now, even joyful. Human, together, we are unstoppable. Eli laughed. I like the sound of that. Outside, the alien salvage fleets retreated. They had underestimated humans, and they had underestimated a starship that was more than just metal. They had assumed Eli would fail, that the ship would remain a relic. They were wrong. As Eli stood in the main chamber, he felt the ship pulse beneath him. It was alive, aware, and now fully trusting him. The bond between human and machine was complete. I remember my creators, my past, but you give me future, Eli nodded. And together we'll make it a good one. He looked at the vast, empty corridors, imagining what they could explore together. There were worlds to see, mysteries to solve, and dangers to face. But for the first time, he was not alone. The ship was awake, and it trusted him completely. For the AI, the universe had been cold and indifferent. For Eli, the universe was vast and full of possibilities. Together, they were more than the sum of their parts. They were a force that no one, alien or human, could predict. And as the colossal starship stirred to life, the stars themselves seemed to shine a little brighter, as if acknowledging the awakening of something extraordinary. A human mechanic and a forgotten giant, united by trust, courage, and ingenuity. Eli leaned against the console, exhausted but exhilarated. We've done it, he said. You're awake, and now we begin. The AI pulsed in agreement. Together, we will explore, protect, create. And in that moment, human and machine understood something essential. The galaxy underestimated humans, but humans were capable of miracles. Not because of raw strength or superior technology, but because of creativity, empathy, and determination, the qualities that made them extraordinary. Eli's eyes sparkled as he looked at the stars stretching beyond the cluster. The adventure had only just begun, and he was ready. Because the galaxy had never seen a human mechanic like him, and it had never seen a starship like this. And together, they were unstoppable. The colossal starship stirred as if waking from a centuries-long slumber. Its massive engines thrummed with renewed energy. sending vibrations through the docking corridors where Eli Calder stood, hands on the railing, heart pounding with anticipation. Every system he had repaired pulsed in harmony, the AI's consciousness fully awake, aware, and alert. "We are alive," the AI said, its voice resonating through the hull like a deep, living echo. "Thanks to you." Eli smiled, exhaustion mixing with pride. "Not just me," he said. "We did this together." Outside, the alien salvage crews hovered, watching with disbelief. They had underestimated the ship, thinking it was a derelict, defenseless relic. Now they realized the error in their judgment. The starship's thrusters flared, shields activated, and weapon systems powered up, not for aggression but for protection. Eli activated the ship's defense grids, his mind working in sync with the AI. The first laser from a salvage fleet bounced harmlessly off the magnetic shields, discharging into space without causing damage. The aliens blinked in astonishment. They can actually fight back," one muttered, astonished. "How?" "Humans are unpredictable," the AI said through the hull's intercom, pulsing with a tone of satisfaction. "And my pilot is exceptional." Eli chuckled softly. "Thanks for the vote of confidence." He had barely begun to realize the full potential of the ship. With his guidance, the AI had become more than the sum of its systems. Together, they moved like a single entity, human creativity and intuition guiding alien technology that had once been considered invincible. The alien fleet attacked again, more aggressively this time, attempting to disable the ship's power core. Eli anticipated the strike, rerouting energy to reinforce weak points and using the ship's automated defenses to target incoming projectiles with precision. Each move was calculated but instinctive, blending human unpredictability with the AI's strategic power. "Human, your mind is unlike any other I have known," the AI said. "Together we are formidable." "You got that right," Eli replied, smiling. He maneuvered the ship, dodging heavy blasts while positioning it so that the AI's defensive systems could counterattack without causing civilian harm to the distant cluster. With a synchronized pulse of energy, the starship unleashed a wave that disabled the alien fleet's attack drones. The aliens were forced to retreat, surprised and humiliated. They had assumed the starship was a relic, a machine too ancient to move or think. They had been wrong. For Eli, it was more than victory. It was proof that humans, with their ingenuity and persistence, could triumph where others failed. Even centuries-old machines could awaken under the guidance of a human mind. "We are free," the AI said, voice resonating like a melody. "Thanks to your courage and skill," Eli nodded, wiping sweat from his brow. "And now we can go anywhere." The colossal starship shifted into space, its massive form cutting through the void like a blade. Stars streaked past as the engines ignited fully, faster than any human or alien vessel Eli had ever seen. The AI shared star charts long forgotten, showing routes through uncharted systems, planets untouched by civilization, and technologies lost to time. This is incredible," Eli said, off-filling his voice. "The knowledge, the history, it's all here." "It is yours to explore," the AI replied, "and ours to protect." They traveled through the cluster, moving past planets and asteroid fields, learning to coordinate as a single unit. Eli directed repairs on the fly, integrating alien systems with human modifications. The AI adapted in return, learning from his creativity, his willingness to experiment and take risks. Together, they became a perfect symbiosis. But the galaxy was not silent. Word of the colossal starship's awakening spread quickly. Other civilizations, curious and cautious, began to approach the sector, some with offers of alliance, others with threats. Eli realized that their journey had just begun. The galaxy would test them further, but humans had always thrived under challenge. "Your species excels at adaptation," the AI said. "I have never known anything like it. No other civilization could have revived me." Eli grinned. "It's what we do. We fix, we adapt, we survive, and sometimes we thrive. Days passed and the starship grew stronger under Eli's care. He explored every corridor, every engine room, every control hub. The ship revealed more of its past, records of battles fought, systems designed for conquest, and even experiments in early AI development. The more he learned, the more Eli understood the galaxy's lost history and humanity's potential. Then came the test Eli had not expected. A rival fleet, far larger and better armed than the earlier salvage crews, entered the sector. They were here to capture the starship, not for repair but for power. Eli didn't hesitate. He moved through the command center, interfacing with the AI directly. Together, they formulated a strategy blending human improvisation with the AI's unmatched computational abilities. "They underestimate us," the AI said. "They see a machine, not a mind. And they see a human, not the force behind it," Eli replied, determination flashing in his eyes. The fleet attacked. Lasers streaked across space, but the colossal starship moved with grace and precision, evading fire while striking back strategically. It was no longer a sleeping relic. It was alive, aware, and guided by the ingenuity of a human. Eli coordinated the ship systems, creating feints and traps that confused the enemy fleet. They fired at phantom positions, triggering defensive countermeasures, and using gravity wells to disable multiple ships at once. The AI learned from his methods, mimicking his unpredictability in ways that no alien mind could anticipate. In the end, the alien fleet retreated, beaten and humiliated. The starship and its human mechanic had proven that the galaxy underestimated humans at their peril. As silence returned, Eli stood in the command center, breathing heavily, watching the stars through the massive viewport. The ship pulsed beneath him, alive and aware, its AI now fully conscious. "Human, you have given me life, purpose, and trust. I am yours to command or to explore with." Eli smiled, feeling the weight of history and the excitement of the future. "We'll explore," he said. "We'll protect, and we'll discover things no one else has dreamed of." The starship's lights pulsed in agreement, almost like laughter. Together, human and machine prepared to journey across the galaxy, a living testament to human ingenuity, courage, and creativity. As they left the cluster behind, Eli reflected on what had happened. The galaxy had dismissed humans as fragile, unpredictable, insignificant. Yet here he was, a single human mechanic, commanding a colossal starship that had been left to rot for centuries. Together they had awakened a giant, outsmarted entire fleets, and claimed a future full of possibility. "Your species, remarkable," the AI said. "I will follow you anywhere." Eli laughed. "I wouldn't have it any other way." The starship cut through the void, faster and stronger than any vessel in the cluster. Stars streaked past, nebulae shimmered in the distance, and planets waited to be explored. The adventure was far from over. Humans had once again shown that ingenuity, courage, and empathy were forces no alien could match. And in that vast, silent galaxy, the bond between human and machine shone brighter than any star. Eli Calder, the human mechanic, had not just revived a starship, he had awakened a legend. And together, they would carve a path across the stars that no one would ever forget. The colossal starship roared to life, engines blazing, AI pulsing, and Eli at its helm. For the first time in centuries, the galaxy had seen a human at the center of something truly extraordinary. The stars stretched before them, endless and full of promise. And for the first time, a human and a starship were ready to meet it all together.